Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Locked Door MMA. I'm your host, Brevin, with my co host, JP. We are so excited to give you guys a recap of UFC 303. JP went crazy on this card, guys. 12-1. We were so close to having a perfect card, which would have been absolutely insane. We would have won so much more money than we did. We actually did really well bets wise, and then obviously our predictions as well. So I'll kick it over to JP to give you a rundown of the JP's Juicer Parlay, which hit as well. What were your thoughts about the parlay and how it performed?
I told you, brother, it's hitting, man. It is hitting, dude. I wanted to bring out the broom, do the little sweep bit. I had it all planned out. And then Jordan got slumped by Jean Silva, which that one was tough. That one we were going back and forth when we were picking it, but could not be happier, dude. The juicer hit. The Lopez, that whole thing with the Lopez fight was wild. The 4 hours notice, Ige stepping up, which in our book, that's not a loss for Ige, brother. 4 hours notice, and you still step up to fight a guy who's a killer. Lopez still won though, but unfortunately our bets were already in, so they just voided that part. So that kind of made the odds go down a little bit. But dude, the juicer hit, the lock parlay hit. Your basic parlay, Jordan screwed us in that one again, but 12-1, man. After last week 8-3, this week 12-1. Y'all better jump on the hype train now. Okay, get on now because we're moving. We ain't looking back. Tell your wives, tell your friends, tell your family, and let's all jump on it now, dude. I could not be happier with how this weekend went. And most of the fights we kind of called it to a T, brother. I mean, the Poop Bowl 2.0, two
Yep.
elderly grizzlies fighting over a salmon. That was much worse of a fight than I thought it was going to be. But I think we both agreed on Boudet's not beating anybody else other than Andre Arlovsky in that fashion, brother. It was cheeks, man. And then the main event. Let's get into it. Let's talk the main
Yeah,
event,
definitely.
brother. What?
Let's start with the main event. Alex Pereira, Yuri Prochazka 2. Certainly high expectations leading up. Obviously these two guys, much respect to the both of them for saving the card, stepping in for Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler there. Um, yeah, I mean, round one started off a little bit calculated for both guys, just trying to find their range, trying to figure out what was going to work in this new matchup. And I think Alex was certainly getting the better of him early, seemed to have been in control, landing the calf kicks, right? And then at the end of round one, hitting him with that powerful, powerful left and catching him, sitting him down at the bell. Yuri was definitely saved by the bell. I thought it was hilarious how he was calling for him to come into his guard. He wanted to grapple Alex, but it's like Yuri, the round
Yeah.
was the round was over, brother.
Yeah.
You got sat down, and then poor Yuri, yeah, he came out and I thought he had recovered and he ate the left high kick from hell that ultimately put him back down on the ground where Alex was able to pound the back of his head, the side of his head, and cause Herb Dean to step in there and call the fight. So certainly another flashy highlight reel performance from our boy Alex Poatan Pereira, the absolute killer. Super happy for him, well deserved. On also short notice, but to go out and put on that performance, this guy is one of the greats, and he will go down as one of the greats. So thank you, Alex. Thank you, Yuri, for another great main event.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. Like you said, the second time they stepped up, saved a card. This man has been on tours, meet and greets. He's in Australia, he's in New York. He's got broken toes, brother. He slumped you with broken toes and then proceeded to pop his toes back in like it's no big deal, dog. That is unreal to me, dude. The fact that he throws that check left hook so nonchalant, so casually, and it just devastates people. I just cannot wrap my head around it, dude. That was crazy. Did you hear? I saw this morning that apparently Yuri posted something on Insta before the fight, and when Pajeda was in the locker room watching it, they were talking about leg kicks, and Pajeda said, "No, his hands are low. I'm gonna take him." And then he goes out there and does it, bro. I do not see Pajeda losing. The only way, obviously, is Ankalaev. He's been on Twitter talking a lot since the fight. I mean, Blachowicz beat him. You got to grapple him, bro. You just got to lay on him, dude. You cannot give this man a chance to throw hands, or else you are getting slumped. And Ankalaev's talking about knocking him out. Come on, brother. Come on, brother. The legacy, the GOAT status, I think he's making his way up there quickly, brother. He's so entertaining to watch. You cannot look away. I looked away for a second talking to my wife. Boom, put him down with a check left hook. I was like, babe, you got to stop talking to me. We're locked in right now. But what a main event, dude. What a main event. Cannot bet against Poetan, brother. Can't
No,
do it.
certainly not. And I did see that um, one of his coaches came out saying that they did see that training footage of him warming up in the back room before the fight, practicing checking that calf kick that gave him so many problems in the first fight, and that he knew to expect from Alex going into it. At which point he was lowering his hands, and Alex supposedly said, "Yeah, I'm going to catch him with the left high kick," which he certainly did. And he called his shot, so that was very, very impressive there. All right, we can move down to Diego Lopez and Dan Ige. I know that obviously this was unexpected. Diego Lopez was supposed to take on Brian Ortega, also kind of threw off, like JP said earlier, the parlays, just voids the bets, which is certainly unfortunate from an odds perspective. We lose out on some much needed cash. So, tell me your thoughts on Dan Ige stepping up on 4 hours notice and putting on the performance that he did.
I mean, talk about fucking just a G for stepping in, brother. 4 hours notice. Brian Ortega apparently had a 103-degree fever or something from the weight cut. So this fight was originally already short notice, and then it's can't do it at 145. We got to do it at 155. At 3:30 a.m., Lopez says, "Okay, I'm fine with that. I'll start rehydrating now. Do it at 155." And then boom, 4 hours before, Ortega's out. Ige calls and says, "Brother, I'm here. Put me in. Let's go." Lopez is still on the card. Lopez does what he does. Huge respect for Ige, even though he lost. I do not care, brother. Lopez is on the up and coming. He's a star, and Ige steps in to save the card as well. I think Lopez still would have won either way. Ortega, Ige, don't matter. I'd love to see that fight with Evloev, them run it back, because I think Lopez just right now, dude, Lopez is so high in my mind of his skill set on the ground, on the feet, whatever it is, brother. And Ige edged out a round. No, he edged
Yeah,
out the
round three.
third. So
Yep.
that's just crazy, dude. It's overall just crazy. But Lopez is just a killer. Anyone, anywhere, anytime, brother. That's just you can't dislike that, brother.
Yeah, that's been his mentality, and I think that's what draws the fans to like him. He's certainly become a fan favorite. At the weigh-ins, they were chanting Lopez, Lopez. So I was glad to see him go out and still be able to perform. And as cool as it was to see Dan Ige come in and steal a round on 4 hours notice against Diego Lopez, I mean, many people are not talking about the same thing applies to Diego Lopez. He went into the fight expecting a guy like Brian Ortega, training for that, and then he was faced up with a guy like Dan Ige, who he had no idea who he was fighting until 4 hours prior to the fight. So certainly a great outcome there. I'm glad Lopez was able to remain on the card because and kudos to Dana White in the UFC for being able to continue to save this card and deal with the absolute shit show that it had been. So my hat's off to them for still getting something together. Great fight there as well. Next fight down here, we have Roman Dolidze and Anthony Smith. Tell me your thoughts on how that fight played out.
Exactly as I saw it before, brother. Anthony Smith, on paper, this is a guy that he should beat. He should walk through. He's levels above. And then we see Anthony Smith fight like this, and it's just kind of like why you should be much better than what you're performing right now. And Dolidze, the other time he came up to light heavyweight, he looked like shit. But now, I mean, Anthony's what? He was like 2 inches taller or something. Didn't look like it. Dolidze looked like the bigger guy. Dolidze slow, methodical, everything that we said. And Anthony Smith just cannot, not even put him away, just can't beat him, just can't edge it out, brother. The grappling, taking his back, like on the ground, exactly how I thought it would go. I do not think Dolidze's good, but again, just like the Arlovsky fight that we'll get to, they're just old, man, and they just I think the skill set that they used to have just is not there anymore. Yeah, Smith had a big win previous to this of Petrino, but Petrino's I mean, you're an idiot. You're shooting a takedown with your neck out there, brother. You're a striker. Like, of course he's gonna wrap it up. That's his only way to victory. So I just saw this one. Couldn't see Anthony Smith winning at all, brother. And then just watching the fight is just music to my ears at this point. Obviously, the Jordan fight already happened, but we were just stacking up the wins, brother. Waiting for the tube to tell y'all that we almost swept it, dude. God, fucking Jordan, man.
Yeah, this fight definitely went the way that you had predicted it. I certainly thought Anthony Smith was going to be a little bit more aggressive, really push the pace and utilize his size to his advantage in this one. Only landed 51 significant or not significant strikes. Well, yeah, actually they all were significant strikes. 51 strikes in total as well. To Delize's 103 total strikes, and then Anthony Smith didn't shoot any takedowns. Didn't give himself a chance to grapple and possibly find a submission in this one. It just was kind of a boring fight with Delize winning that decision. So, live and you learn. I was high on Anthony Smith. You're right. He's just kind of not got that same killer mentality that I believe he once had. And I believe his career is heading towards a life of commentary and no longer UFC fights. So we'll see what he continues to do. And we'll have to heavily consider picking with Anthony Smith from here on out. So, a little disappointing from my end of it, but hats off to JP once again for calling that one. Next fight we had Myra Bueno Silva and Macy Chiasson. This one ended in interesting fashion. Let's talk about it.
Hell yeah, it did, dude. Jesus Christ. That thing was huge over her, what was it, right eyebrow, left eyebrow? One of the two. I mean, this was a one, it was a pick 'em right at the end. The odds constantly moved. They were always close, but then right at the end, right before they closed, they were even. Pick 'em, minus 110 both ways. Bueno Silva, I knew she was going to be early looking to get back to what got her to the dance. Just constant grappling, better grappling. Chiasson has been shown to be put in a bunch of submissions before in every fight, but she can hold her own, she can wrestle, and she's the bigger girl. The elbows cutting her open. Bueno Silva, I feel like, accepts being on her back in the grapple exchanges a little too much. And then she was upset about not continuing, which she seemed there still, but that cut was just disgusting. That made me happy that the doctor came in. As soon as I came in, I said, he's stopping it. There's no way they do not. Just to not let that fight go to decision, because the judges could have went either way. The next fight we're talking about is a big thing we can discuss in that one. But yeah, man, to see it end like that, it was weird, but also again, I was like, all right, happy for it, stack another win. Let's move on, brother. But
Yeah, yeah,
crazy,
yeah.
man.
No, the win's a win, right? And we were happy that Macy got it done. We both had predicted her to win, but you are right. That cut was absolutely disgusting. Especially when the doctor came in and looked at it and shined his light right
Yeah.
into the cut. It showed how deep it truly was. And hats off to Myra for still wanting to fight. I mean, she showed the heart of a fighter. And ultimately, that's what you would want to see out of anybody in the UFC, right? This is a fight. At the end of the day, you've got to be tough. You've got to be willing to fight. And if she was still willing to go, I know I was on the side of, hey, let her go. She's going to get stitches either way. I'm not sure what else, what further damage could have been caused, as it was still above the eyebrow. It wasn't going to affect her eye in any way, shape, or form outside of some blood dripping down and like prohibiting her eyesight. So I
Mhm.
wanted it to continue, but doctor stoppage, we'll live with it. I'm glad Macy got the win as well. But yeah, next fight, Ian Machado Gary versus MVP. What were your thoughts on how this went down and how these two fighters stylistically matched up? Certainly was pretty good fight. I wish it could have been maybe 5 rounds. But we saw 3 rounds of decent action from both guys. They're both exciting fighters to watch. What were your thoughts there?
Yeah, I like the 5 round shout, dude. I feel like on a fight night, this is easily a main event on a fight
Hmm.
night, and then we do get those 5 rounds. And I would have loved to see those last rounds because at this point when we were watching it, everybody was standing up and we're saying, "Nah, this counts." The judge is looking at this. I mean, what a fight to watch! This is the shit that everybody loves to watch UFC for. How entertaining it is. I mean, and again, I said if Ian wants to stay undefeated, he has to grapple. At the end, he's a little high on the back. MVP's trying to shake him off. Nothing's really done with it. MVP on the feet, even though he never really rocked Gary, his shots just look bigger. How much he explodes into it, his shots look like they matter more.
Yep.
And that's what same thing in the Holland fight, but he did crack Holland a couple times. But I knew Gary, nobody can point fight with MVP. He is literally the best at point fighting. That is what his career is made out of. Also finishes. But when you're Ian Machado Gary, when you're levels above people, like you say, you got to have these fights, man. You got to grapple them. It's probably not going to be a finish. It's going to be a dogfight the whole time. If you get on the feet, he knows he's going to try and start you. So again, brother, just exactly how I saw it going. If Gary and raise, and then of course at the end, judges. I think it was unanimous, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it was unanimous. But I mean, MVP, he's going to be around in the UFC for a little bit. I love watching him fight. He does not have any boring fights. My only thing is in this weight class, there are people who are better at grappling than Machado Gary. And if MVP doesn't clip him early, he's just going to be on his ass, on his back the whole time. So he's got to watch out for that. But yeah, man, on the feet, calculated, slow. Neither one of them's throwing big combos, heavy combos, because, I mean, at some point, both counter strikers, you miss one, you miss two, then you're getting clipped. So they were just kind of peppering each other with shots. But yeah, man, it was good. I would say, other than the Pereira fight, I would say this one was probably the most entertaining fight of the night.
Yeah, this one was entertaining, not from the massive shots that were being thrown, but just because of the back and forth that we were having while watching the fight. Obviously, I was cheering for MVP. And Ian Gary had said going into this fight that he was going to be the faster striker, and he was going to have an edge on the feet, and that actually didn't turn out to be the case. MVP was very, very sharp, very, very quick, and like you said, explosive as well. And some of those shots definitely seemed to impact Ian Gary, even though they didn't necessarily change the course of the fight to change. But they certainly gave him something to think about while standing. And I think that's kind of why Ian felt the need to grapple and got into those exchanges with MVP, where he did get the better of him. I mean, some submission attempts, which certainly scored high on the judges' scorecards as we, uncovered at the end of the fight. But ultimately, a good back and forth. I would like to see MVP against some pure strikers. I think that would be really fun to watch. But like you said, if he continues to fight in this weight division, there are better grapplers that will just dominate him down on the ground, and that's ultimately going to be the case of whether he's successful or not successful. Can he keep it standing and outstrike his opponents? But good on him for accepting the fight, and making that exciting for the first fight on that main card. So with that, we can move down into the prelims. And this fight, actually, I was pretty excited for. Both big, strong dudes that have power in their hands, Joe Pyfer and Marc Andre Barriault. JP, what were your thoughts on how this fight went down? Were you expecting it to go the way it did?
No, not that early, dude. Not that early. What was it? 125 of round one? Yeah. Pfeiffer gave us another hype up fight. Another, see, I told you I'm that dude. I'm still that dude. I just had a bad night, which I kind of agree with. He came out, he was huge, ready to go. He was uncorking stuff early. I didn't even realize he hurt Barrios as bad as he did at first.
Yep.
And then just, again, Bink right on the temple, put him out cold. Dude, this is what we love to see. Joe Pfeiffer, Bo Nickel, people like that. Peyton Talbot, who was on this card, who had one himself. This is what we love to see, dude. This card had 5 knockouts total, I think, on the card. Gorgeous. Love to see it. Everybody's talking shit about the new gloves. We mentioned it last week. I mean, what a fight, bro. Barrios had nothing for him. Literally nothing. You walked in there, put your hands up, moved about 6 feet total, and then got slumped. So, I mean, what a fight, brother. Pfeiffer, He's that dude. I'm excited for him. I'm excited for new upcoming fights for him and who they're going to put him against because I think if he doesn't fight like he did in the Hermanson fight, he's got a shot to go a ways in this division, brother. So it was good, man. It was entertaining. It was crazy to watch.
Yeah, 100%. And it's funny that you bring up the new glove thing because up until the last 2 weeks, there hadn't been a lot of big knockouts. We just hadn't seen the same types of knockouts that we were seeing before they introduced the new gloves. And then we had Ozdemir turning the lights out on Johnny Walker. And that's when I think my mind started to change about the new gloves. And then obviously moving into this week, we saw plenty of knockouts, some big shots. Seems like damage can still really be done even with the new gloves. So yeah, that's good news. Joe Pyfer came out, looked like his normal self. I think he learned a lot from the Hermanson fight. I also think he's very dangerous in 3 rounds. The Hermanson fight was a 5 rounder, and he lost the
Oh
last
yeah,
three. He looked tired. In a
it's
three
a great
round
point.
fight, Heifer looks really sharp. And then this is a big win for him, especially coming back from that loss versus Hermanson. I mean, Mark Andre is no scrub in there. He has a number of big wins of his own. He's a really good fighter as well. Very highly skilled, and Joe Pyfer made quick work of him getting that knockout and just turning off the lights. That was really exciting to see. I was really high on Joe Pyfer going into this card. I'm glad he was able to get the job done and reassert himself as one of the contenders in the middleweight division. As long as he continues to improve and work his way up, he's always someone to watch out for. So great fight. Hats off to Joe Pyfer. Next one, interesting little fight. Cub Swanson versus Andre Feely. Split decision. What were your thoughts on that
Yeah.
fight?
I don't know about the split the more I think about it, but Feely did get clipped a little bit. He did get rocked, but again, the takedowns. Now, did anything happen with the takedowns that was big? Not really, but the judges, I mean, sometimes you just get a judge who's just a moron, but it just matters so much to them in their mind, bro. If I can take you down multiple times, even if you get right back up, they just take it so to heart. And Feely, tough dude. In my head, what we saw, which I mean, I felt like we both thought this fight was going to go this way. What we saw was two of the same exact fighters in different points of their career. Cub Swanson at the tail end, Andre Feely not quite at the tail end, but he's getting to the point where he's seen everything that he can see in the UFC. He's had shit thrown at him, so now it's just whether he can string together a couple wins, make a run. I don't think he will, but it was a good fight, man. Great value version of Max Holloway. You know the Max Holloway at home. He pulled it out, brother. So it's a good entertaining one. The tattoos on both of them. I gotta say the back piece that Feely's got, that thing's fucking sick, brother.
Yeah, no, those were those were cool. One of our buddies kept commenting on how cool the tattoo was. I think he was enjoying the tattoos more than the fight itself. So, yeah, hats off to those tattoo artists for both guys. It was a little bit unimpressive, I think, on Feely's end. I was expecting him to win by decision. That was my prediction on our last show. That did come to fruition, so I was happy to see that. However, Feely going 2 for 11 with the takedowns, I mean, the percentage is not good. I'm glad he was
Nah,
able to
not at
land
all.
those 2 takedowns, and that was big because Cub Swanson went 0 for 2, and if you, like, look at that fight on paper going into it, you would almost assume that Cub Swanson would be the one trying for the majority of the takedowns, and he really didn't. But he landed more total strikes, and Feely landed more significant strikes, so it was kind of one of those fights that was back and forth. Feely was certainly on the defensive, moving backwards, but he also had some really nice counter striking that was taking place as well. On top of the 2 takedowns he did land, I was happy with the decision win. I personally thought it should have been a unanimous decision. Made us sweat a little bit with the split decision. And I
Hell
know
yeah,
I
it
had
did.
called that Cub Swanson didn't win his last split decision victory. So it was good. It was good payback for that decision win that he had the last time out. Glad Andre Feely got it done. Certainly won me some money on that decision prop bet as well. Moving down in the card, this one, the heartbreaker, the one fight that cost us the perfect card. John Silva versus Charles
Oh
Jourdain.
God.
Give me your thoughts on how that fight went. What was going on through your head?
I am beating myself up so bad about this pick, bro. I just gotta if I'm picking Pavlovich to knock out Volkov, and then I don't pick John Silva and I choose Jordan, what the hell are we doing? Granted, I was wrong with the Pavlovich pick, but if I'm gonna, it's live and die by the sword, brother. You can't bitch out. God, cost us a sweep. I am crazy impressed by John Silva. He was the smaller guy by like 4 inches, 5 inches, something like that. Jordan got hit with big shots early, immediately knew he had to wrestle. He was shooting, he was shooting, he was shooting. John Silva's control in the clinch, John Silva's takedown defense, his scrambles, and then the way that he put him out. Jordan's attacking a single, trying to get the single, trying to put it in his crouch and run the pipe a little bit. And John Silva just pushing down the head. Great head control the whole time. Phenomenal head control. Pushes his leg out and then just holds Jordan's head right in the spot where I want to put it. And then mink right on the chin. Disgusting. I was very impressed by Jean Silva's fight. Jordan, again, he wasn't really impressive before. We just knew he was notoriously tough. And I think Jean Silva's like the second guy, maybe, to knock out Jordan. I don't know who else has done it before, but that was impressive, man. Just the whole fight. We got to put more respect on John Silva's name because before this, I think we were both kind of skeptical. Like, yeah, he's good. He's got a lot of knockouts. Now that's 10 wins in a row for him. But man, I didn't think his control. I thought the size would matter more, but he was good, brother. It was a good showing for sure.
Yeah, it certainly was. And to your point, I believe that now he has earned that respect. Before this fight, he hadn't really fought anybody that you and I valued as a fighter. Charles Jourdain is someone that we have seen fight quite a bit before. And to go out and fight Jourdain in the way that he did and get that knockout win, like you said, Jourdain's not someone that gets finished very easily. And for Silva to go out there, land those massive, massive shots. I mean, this kid truly has power in those hands. So that is something to watch out for moving forward. And you're right, the takedown defense was good. He did get taken down a few times, but his ability to control the head, push down on the head, and work his way back up to his feet, to which he was able to land some very, very powerful shots, was impressive. Yeah, kudos to him. Cost us the perfect card on the show. He did cost us the card. So there's a little bit of hate there. Just kidding. He's just earned our respect. And I think moving forward, he will be someone that we always talk about as costing us the perfect card. And hopefully he can win us some more money moving forward, put money on Gene Silva. Good for
Okay,
him.
ruin the bit. He ruined my bit. God, I had the broom ready and everything, bro. Come on, man.
Good for Mr. Silva there. Next fight, very exciting prospect. Peyton Talbot took on Giannis Gamori. This was fun to watch. It really was because you knew
I
going
mean,
into it
wow.
there was some star power, right? You can feel the aura in the building. Everyone's super excited to watch this guy fight. He's had power in his hands, and nobody likes Gamori. Fight IQ's low. What were your thoughts on how this fight went down?
I mean, holy shit, dude. 19 seconds. I knew he was going to knock him out. I didn't think it would be that quick. Peyton Talbot didn't even fucking sweat. Dude sweat more in the back warming up for the fight than he did in the fight. I mean, holy cow. Gamori, like we said before, you get kicked in the mid stomach. He thought it was a groin shot. Ref says no, and then you turn your back. Brother, when you turn around, Peyton Talbot's there to sleep you anyways. It doesn't matter. Back turned, back not turned. He's going to sleep. That was unreal. I know I was telling Brevin about it when they were walking out. I said, Peyton Talbot's kind of a cocky little son of a bitch. He wants to post on his YouTube how to beat him. He said, you got to throw leg kicks. And then he goes in the fight and knocks the dude out as he's throwing a leg kick. And then Brevin goes, I don't know if he's a cocky dipshit versus just the ultimate troll. Like, that's the ultimate warfare, brother. That is unreal to me. 19 seconds. I'm excited for this kid. I am on the hype train for this kid. I'm there for every fight he's got. Kind of hard to bet against him, bro. We haven't seen anybody grapple and lay on him. That Cameron Simon win that he has, I mean, makes Simon look so much better too now, but Talbot's something special, bro. I think Talbot is the next star, brother. I think you're right about that.
I 100% agree. This fight was the equivalent of throwing a perfect game in baseball. Talbot went out there 13 for 13 with his total strikes, and all of them being significant strikes with the knockout. Oh, I mean, this guy Gamori was in the air. His feet left the canvas, and his entire body was floating in the air after that right hand that caught him right on the chin. It was disgusting. I'm very excited to see Talbot continue to fight. Working his way up the bantamweight division, it was exciting, and it was exactly what we were hoping for from Peyton Talbot. I am very glad he was able to go out there and get that big KO win in round one. It was so funny after the fight, they asked him, "Why did you kind of hesitate and stand there after you knocked him down?" And he was like, "I was really hoping to get more out of this guy. I love fighting. I want to continue to get better." Yeah, it was quick. It was vicious. Great win for Peyton Talbot. The
What a
fight
win, brother.
before this, Michelle Waterson Gomez and Jillian Robertson. Give me a breakdown of how you thought this fight went. I know that we had called this one by decision, so great call there. That hit. How'd you think the fight went?
Exactly how we thought it would, bro. Exactly how we thought it would. Michelle Watterson on the feet. Her legs are big, strong. She chambers kicks, uncorks them. Robertson walked into a couple up kicks, couple front kicks, dude. So that got real dangerous. And she said, I am not playing with fire. I'm going to take her down, put her in my world. And that's exactly what happened. Took her down, put her in multiple different crucifixes, reverse crucifixes. She was having her way on the ground. Couldn't bet on it. But another thing we called to a T, Watterson Gomez. That's it, brother. Retirement. We felt bad for her in a way. You get your ass beat going out, but what a career she has had, man. She fought the best of the best in that division. She's a mom now. Her daughter's grown up, about to be a teenager. I mean, everybody was cheering for her, happy for her. She's a great fighter to love to watch, but unfortunately she is retiring. But exactly how we said it, bro. Jillian Robertson's gonna take her down, put her in her wheelhouse. It's exactly what she did. She worked her from the bottom. Those elbows were swelling up the side of her face. But Waterson Gomez was tough, man. But yeah, by decision, Robertson. I mean, this at this point in the card, and then the Talbot fight. I mean, I was just flying so high, brother. It was just bang, 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 one after another. So it was good, bro. It was good.
It was certainly good. It was an entertaining fight. I know that we had talked about this potentially being a boring fight, but I enjoyed it. Because obviously Robertson was our pick and she beat Michelle up. Definitely made her face swell pretty badly. I liked all of the submission attempts. It looked like she was going to have an arm bar multiple times throughout the fight. So that was exciting to watch. But yeah, props to Michelle for making it to decision and making it through the fight. Obviously, she lost the fight and got beat up pretty good, but wasn't a bad one to go out on and retire. At least she didn't get knocked out cold or have her arm snapped in two or something to that nature to retire on.
Yeah.
She made it through the fight. She fought to the best of her ability and then retired after it. Yeah, Robertson looked pretty good. I'm kind of interested to see what she can bring to that division as that strawweight women's division as she works her way up through the roster. So maybe someone to keep an eye on. She seems very skilled, and she surprised me a little bit. So hats off to her. Next fight, Hoop Bowl 2.0.
Dog shit.
And Andre Arlovsky versus Martin Boudet. Do we even have to spend much time talking about these guys? This was one of the worst fights that I think I've watched in a long while. I know that DC and some of the announcers had agreed that this was one of the worst fights that they've ever commentated. What were your thoughts on how this played out?
I mean, Jesus Christ, dude. Boudet is so bad. Arlovsky's old. Oh my god. It's a good thing that we were having conversation and just banter on the side. Because if you're watching this in your living room by yourself, at this point it was like what, 4 in the afternoon maybe? I'm snoozing. I'm falling asleep. Fuck, man, I gotta get up and do something. Do some push-ups. Get the blood pumping. Cause holy cow. No striking. And then they just grapple together. I want to say two grizzly bears, but Jesus, they are so slow, brother. Oh my god. It's just terrible. I don't think Boudet's beaten anybody else. I don't know how this guy's got a record of 14-2, but juicer leg that I was real worried about, and it came through, brother. That's all that matters. We got the positivity out of the poop bowl, brother. I mean, come on, man. Terrible fight. Terrible
Yeah,
fight.
I think it was certainly something where we were itching for something positive to come out of it. I know I had taken Arlovsky by decision. It was split. It really could have gone either way. It was one of the worst fights that I've witnessed. And like JP said, if you guys find Boudet at a decent odds, hammer the other guy. Just hammer the other guy. This guy's not beating anybody. He's not beating anybody. I don't even know how he got this win. He wants to lay on people. That's not MMA. That's not fighting. He is I like, and I don't say this lightheartedly, but I think I could go out there and beat Martin Boudet. I really do. I really do. This guy's buns. So yeah, not a huge fan, as you guys can tell. It was a terrible fight, and if Arlovsky was anywhere close to his prime, it would have been an absolute slaughterhouse. And Arlovsky needs to hang it up. I mean, that we're not even talking about that enough. Like this guy, he's got nothing to offer.
I'm
He didn't.
surprised he didn't, bro. I'm surprised he didn't do
I was surprised 10 years ago when he didn't do it. I mean, this
it.
guy is continuing to just go out there and get beat up on and is not getting victories. He's just taking L's. Yeah, this one, it was terrible. If you did put money on Budai, make it the last time. You're gonna lose money if you bet on him in the
Yup.
future.
Yup.
So do yourself a favor, go win money by putting it on whoever else. I don't care whoever else it is, as long as they're not over the age of 45 and they have some common sense on how to fight, they will beat Martin Budai. You have my word. Yeah, we don't need to spend any more time talking about those bums. Let's move down to Ray Suyura versus Carlos Hernandez. This one actually surprised a lot of people, I believe, on how the outcome ended up. What were your thoughts on how the fight played out?
I don't think I've seen a more entertaining or higher level grappling in a fight in a long time, dude. This whole fight was basically 15 minutes of grappling, and we both sat there after the fight ended and said, it feels like we've been sitting here for 3 minutes because it was that entertaining. The scrambles, the transitions, unreal. Suyura is an unhinged dog, brother. He's constantly coming at you, constantly trying to put you away. And Hernandez held his own. Hernandez kind of gained my respect. Granted, he lost, but he held his own in that thing, dude. He was scrambling out of positions. Suyura is psychotic, bro. The fact that you said he has gone for two twisters before when we broke it down, and he went for what, two or three of them in this fight alone, dude? That is unreal. The confidence that he has in himself, the control that he knows he has. I mean, the grappling that was on display was unreal. It was so impressive to watch. There was one point where Hernandez sprawled out when Suyuta shot, and he had a leg, but Suyuta's head was down underneath his hips, and he started to pick him up and pull him to him, bro. That is the most impressive thing I've ever seen. Even DC said on the commentary, his back must be so strong. This kid's cut up. Suyuta's going to be a problem, just like Tatsuro Taira. These two Japanese kids are going to be an issue in this division, bro.
Yes, I 100% agree, and I'm glad that you brought up Tatsuro Taira, who was Carlos Hernandez's last opponent. This guy's getting the short end of the stick. I mean, come on. He's been fed to some absolute pillars on the ground. And He's held his own for the most part. I and watching that Tyra fight, it was clear that Hernandez was gonna be the lesser grappler, but I did say he was scrappy. He will continue to work out of all these positions. He's not gonna give up a position easily. And you saw that. He was almost put in two twisters. Like Ray had it. He almost had one twister, and that was gonna be epic, given the fact that I had Ray by sub. However, Carlos Hernandez, hats off to him. He's a scrappy dude. I hope that maybe they give him some lesser opponent. I wanna see him get a W for having to deal with, these 2 Japanese fighters. So, yeah, good fight overall. It was great grappling all around, and it did seem to go so quick. I could have watched 3 more rounds of those guys being put in pretzels over and over
Oh
again
yeah.
and then escaping and then having it happen again. And like you said, that whole maneuver of him pulling Hernandez closer to him after the sprawl was absolutely insane. I think DC was actually a little shocked because he knows how much strength it would actually take to pull something like that off. Yeah, his back muscles, they must be juiced up.
That was
But
crazy, dude.
um, the first fight of the night, this one was interesting. Ricky Simone versus Vinicius Oliveira. Our boy Vinicius Oliveira, the plus 205 dog, came to
Take him
fight.
out.
He
Take
came
him
to
out.
fight and he got the job done, beating Ricky Simone. What were your thoughts on how this fight played out?
I gotta go back and watch it again because at this point, I think we were still on our way over to your place because we were taking our time with shit. But what you were saying is that one part he was eating up Simone's legs, and then he kind of gave himself a drop foot situation towards the end of the fight. That is crazy, bro. But explosive. I heard there was a little scrappiness in between rounds and stuff too. But I'm glad he got the dub, bro. We did hope for the KO in this one, but I mean Vinicius explosive, strong. I mean it's a good win over Ricky. Ricky's I don't want to call him a journeyman, but at this point, I mean it might be what we're looking at now, brother.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like he's just kind of one of these guys now in the bantamweight division that they will set up to fight some of these newcomers to really see what they're made of, and to gauge
100%.
their levels. So this was one of those fights for sure. I mean, going into the fight, the knock on Oliveira was that he wasn't going to be able to defend the takedown, and that on his way to the UFC, that had been one of his biggest weaknesses was getting taken down and being held down on the ground. Ricky Simone in this fight shot 11 times, only landed 2 takedowns, at which point Oliveira was able to work himself back up to his feet. And Oliveira, at the end of the fight, even shot for a takedown just to show his skill level and landed that. So he went 1 for 1. Simone went 2 for 11. Let's take a look at some of these strike totals here, and I think this really will give you guys a solid picture of how the fight went. Ricky Simone, 44 for 98 for his total strikes, and Oliveira went 96 for 237.
Jeez, I mean Jesus Christ, brother.
237 strikes. He was on the gas pedal. He didn't gas himself out. He was aggressive. And there was that moment in the second round where he had kicked Simone's leg. It got checked pretty bad, and his leg started to go out, and he started doing the stanky leg. And I think it was at that point that he was clearly ahead. However, the odds were moving. The line was moving pretty heavily, and the live odds swung back to even. And it was really funny because even on the broadcast, they said, "I don't know how those odds are the way they are." I hopped on my phone, tried to get a piece of it. However, it had shifted right back with Oliveira being the heavy favorite by that point. So it was certainly an interesting fight. I'm happy with the Oliveira win. I wish I would have put more money on him as that dog in the first fight of the night. However, it was a
Yeah.
great prediction on our part.
Yeah, I wish we would have just money lined it straight up, bro, because he was plus two something as a dog. Damn, that would have been a big one. But I mean, what a card, brother! What a card! 12-1. I mean, if y'all ain't seen it yet, I don't know what else to tell you, brother. We're only going up from here, so y'all gotta jump on now, dude. I'm telling you. And we didn't even have this planned out. Special mention, okay? 12-1 on the UFC card. We can confidently say we are undefeated in our power slap picks, brother. Okay, I ain't telling you power slap's the smartest sport to be a part of. Kind of silly to watch as we sit there, but we pulled up to a bar. We were talking about what we wanted to do tomorrow, the bets and stuff. We were going over everything. We look to our left, and Brevin says, "Hey, what do you think about power slap?" I said, "It's kind of stupid." And he goes, "So what about this guy?" Long behold, we put money down on the dog, hit that one. Put money down on the crazy Hawaiian big boy, hit that one. Undefeated on power slap, brother. I mean, we just can't miss this weekend, dog. We can't miss, bro.
Yeah, JP and I were on an absolute heater. It was Friday night. And he had come over to hang out with me, talk about the bets, and then all of a sudden we decided to be the degenerates that we are and tripled up our money on Power Slap on Friday night, which set a perfect tone going into Saturday for UFC 303. So undefeated on Power Slap. Maybe we should start bringing you some Power Slap material here in these videos because we are undefeated and we tend to stay that way mostly because we probably won't keep betting on Power Slap. It's a silly sport.
Yup.
However, it is
Yup.
very intriguing to watch. So yeah, that was a lot of fun as well.
I mean, just watching people stand there and then you get to smack them as hard as you. I just don't. I don't get it. There's no skill involved whatsoever. They took a point away for clubbing, even though the guy's he's trying to Philly shell and shell up. I mean, what the hell, dude? It's
Oh,
wild,
yeah.
man. But yeah, let us know, brother. Engage with us. Let us know. Let's see where we can take this. We can do a couple more things. We got a couple ideas coming down the pipe. See what we want to do. But unfortunately, there's no card this coming weekend, so that's why this video is only a breakdown of the picks of the 12-1, the almost sweep. But so this weekend will be a break. Hang out with the family. Have a good 4th of July. Next weekend after, we're back at it, and we're hitting dingers. Okay. Everybody get juiced up. Save up for that gambling money in 2 weeks. Cause we're going after it, brother. And we're hitting 12-1, 8-3 last weekend. Telling y'all, hop on now, brother. Brevin, anything else you want to tell the people?
Hey, if you've made it this far in the video today, make sure you go ahead, like and subscribe. Leave a comment on all of our videos. It really does help us out, and we appreciate your support so very much. If you are over on the podcast, leave a review and let us know your thoughts on upcoming cards or how we did on these cards as well. So, if you are a follower, thank you. If you're not currently subscribed, which 33% of you viewers out there currently aren't subscribed, make sure you go ahead and
We
hit
see
that
you.
subscribe button. We do see the analytics, so it would be a huge, huge favor, and we'd appreciate it so much if you go ahead and do that. It's free. So go ahead, turn on the bells, notifications, all of that fun stuff. Locked Door MMA, we are locked in. We've been locked in, ladies and gentlemen. We've brought you two banger episodes of our breakdowns, picks, and analysis. And we are now your mama's favorite YouTubers out there. We're your favorite YouTubers out there, and we are predicting better than your favorite MMA YouTubers out there as well. So do us a favor, go ahead, like and subscribe.
Free to subscribe. And then you back the bets and we're winning money, brother. I mean, it sounds like a win-win for me, dog. I don't know. Why
Can't
not?
lose. We can't lose.
Cannot lose, ladies and gentlemen. Week 2's in the books. It was a pleasure, as always. Bingo, bango, baby. Peace.